Here's something that might surprise you. The number one thing that will determine whether you live independently at 75, 80, even 90 years old is not your cholesterol. It's not your blood pressure. It's not even your genetics. It's whether or not you move your body. And I don't mean running marathons. I mean simple, everyday movement that most people completely ignore after they hit 50. I'm Dr. Audrey Kingsley. I've spent over 30 years in orthopedic medicine working with thousands of women. And I can tell you right now, the women who are thriving in their 70s and 80s are not the ones who got lucky. They're the ones who made a decision, sometimes a very small decision, to keep moving. And today, I'm going to share with you exactly what that looks like step by step. No fancy equipment, no gym membership required. Whether you've got bad knees, a stiff back, or you haven't exercised in years, there is something here for you. So, stay with me. Before I get into the specifics, let me give you the quick roadmap so you know exactly what's coming. We're going to cover 3 simple exercises that protect your bones and build lean muscle, what to eat and what to stop eating today, and 3 supplements that most women over 50 are missing. That's it. That's the whole plan. Now let me tell you why it matters so much. There's a term in medicine that most people have never heard of. It's called Sedentary Death Syndrome. Sounds dramatic, right? Well, it should, because it is. Sedentary Death Syndrome refers to at least 33 chronic diseases that are directly linked to not moving enough. I'm talking about heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, dementia, certain cancers, depression, the list just keeps going. 33 diseases. And here's the thing that blows my mind after all these years. If you've got high blood pressure, your doctor gives you a pill. If you've got high cholesterol, another pill. Diabetes, pill. Anxiety, pill. But there is one single medicine that positively affects every single one of those 33 conditions. One, and it's not a pill at all. It's movement. Moving your body is the most powerful medicine that exists. And the beautiful part? It doesn't cost a dime. There's no copay. There's no side effects. Well, maybe being a little sore the next day, but I think we can handle that. Now, I've had women come into my office, 55, 60, 65 years old, and they say to me, Dr. Kingsley, isn't it too late for me? I've been sitting on the couch for the last 20 years. My knees hurt, my back hurts. I can barely walk to the mailbox. And I tell every single one of them the same thing. It is never too late. Never. I don't care if you're 50, 60, 70, or 85. Your body was designed to move, and it will respond to movement at any age. That is not wishful thinking. That is science. Now here's something I really want you to understand because it could literally save your life. I'm talking about your lean muscle mass. When most women think about getting healthy, they think about losing weight. Step on the scale, see a smaller number, feel good about it. But that's only part of the story, and honestly, it's the less important part. What really matters is what your body is made of, muscle or fat. That's your body composition, and it is everything. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine you could look at a cross-section of a 40-year-old woman's thigh. What you'd see is beautiful, dense muscle tissue with very little fat running through it. It looks like a lean cut of meat, like a flank steak, nice and clean. Now imagine a 70-year-old woman who's been mostly sedentary for the last 30 years. That same thigh? It's a completely different picture. The muscle has wasted away, replaced by thick layers and marbling of fat throughout. It looks like the most expensive marbled Wagyu beef you've ever seen. Except in this case, that marbling is going to kill you. Because fat is not just sitting there being inconvenient. Fat is a metabolically active organ that pumps out inflammatory chemicals 24 hours a day. It is slowly poisoning you from the inside. But here's the good news, and this is the part that gets me excited. I've seen the imaging of 70-year-old women who have stayed active throughout their lives, and their thighs look almost identical to that 40-year-old's. Lean, strong, very little fat. These women aren't falling down and breaking their hips. They're hiking, they're traveling, they're picking up their grandkids. They're living their lives on their own terms. You were born with over 650 muscles. Every single one of them is waiting for you to use it. And here's a trap I see women fall into all the time, especially women our age. They decide they want to lose weight, so what do? They cut calories way down. They eat salads and rice cakes and skip meals and feel miserable. And sure, the scale number goes down. But here's what nobody tells you. When you lose weight through calorie restriction alone without exercise, up to 25 to 50% of the weight you lose is muscle, not fat. Muscle, the very thing keeping you alive and independent. So you lose all this weight, you feel proud of yourself, and then what happens? You can't keep up that crazy diet forever. Nobody can. So the weight comes back. But here's the cruel part. When it comes back, about 80% of the regained weight is fat, so you end up worse off than when you started. Less muscle, more fat, weaker metabolism. It's a vicious cycle, and I've seen it destroy women's health over and over again. That's why I tell my patients, stop focusing on weight. Start focusing on composition. Build muscle, keep muscle. That's the game. Now, I need to tell you about something that changed the way I think about the human body, even after 3 decades of practice. Most people think of bones as these rigid, dead structures, like the scaffolding on a building. They hold you up and that's about it. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Your bones are alive. They are dynamic, living organs that are constantly communicating with the rest of your body. They're sending chemical messages to your brain, to your muscles, to your pancreas, to your entire system. Let me give you a specific example. Your bones release a hormone called osteocalcin. When osteocalcin travels to your brain, it triggers the production of something called brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF for short. That's basically fertilizer for your brain. It helps you grow new neurons, new brain cells. And we know from research that women with osteoporosis, meaning weak, deteriorating bones, have significantly higher rates of dementia. That's not a coincidence. There is a direct communication line between your bones and your brain. When your bones weaken, your brain suffers. But it doesn't stop there. Osteocalcin also talks to your muscles and your pancreas, helping regulate glucose metabolism. That's your body's ability to process sugar and keep blood sugar stable. So strong bones literally help protect you from diabetes. Isn't that incredible? And then there's the other side of the conversation. When your muscles contract, when you actually use them, they send signals back to your bones telling them to lay down new bone tissue. Your muscles release a protein called irisin that communicates directly with your bones and helps strengthen them. So bones talk to muscles, muscles talk to bones, and together they're keeping you healthy, sharp, and strong. It's a beautiful system. But it only works if you participate. If you sit on the couch, the conversation stops. Now, here's the part that absolutely fascinated me when I first learned about it. Your muscles, when they contract, release a protein called Klotho. Klotho, named after the Greek goddess who spins the thread of life. And that name is no accident because Klotho is what researchers call the longevity protein. It circulates through your entire body, goes to all of your major organs, and helps keep them functioning in a healthier, more youthful way. In animal studies, mice that couldn't produce Klotho aged rapidly and died young. But here's the study that really stopped me in my tracks. Researchers measured circulating levels of Klotho in 3 groups of people. Active people over 70, active people in midlife, and sedentary people around 35. Now, you'd think the 35-year-olds would win, right? They're young. Their bodies should be producing plenty of this stuff. Wrong. The active people over 70 produced more Klotho, more longevity protein, than the sedentary 35-year-olds. Let me say that again because I need you to really hear it. A 72-year-old woman who exercises regularly has more longevity protein circulating in her body than a 35-year-old who sits at a desk all day. Age is not the determining factor. Activity is. That should give every single one of you hope. So how do we boost Klotho? How do we build this lean muscle, strengthen our bones, and basically tell our bodies to keep us young? I'm going to give you 3 simple strategies, and I promise you, they are doable for almost everyone, even if you have limitations. Number 1, I want you to lift heavy things. Now, before you panic, I'm not talking about Olympic weightlifting. I'm talking about picking up weights that are challenging for you and doing just 3 to 6 repetitions. That's it. Maybe it's 8-pound dumbbells. Maybe it's 15. Maybe it's a gallon jug of water in each hand. Whatever is heavy for you. The point is that when you challenge your muscles with heavy loads for a small number of reps, that's what triggers stem cell production. That's what builds your mitochondria, the little power plants inside your cells. And that's what keeps you from falling down from a standing position and breaking your hip, which is something I've seen change women's lives forever and not in a good way. Heavy lifting, 3 to 6 reps, a few times a week. You can do this. Number 2, I want you to add 20 jumps a day into your routine. And I know what some of you are thinking. Dr. Kingsley, I can't jump. My knees won't let me. My back won't take it. I hear you, and I've got you covered. If jumping is off the table for you, here are your alternatives. You can use a mini trampoline, what we call a rebounder. Rebounding gives you that bone-stimulating impact, but with way less stress on your joints. One of my patients, 68 years old, terrible knees, started rebounding 3 times a week, and her bone density scan improved in just 1 year. You can also do heel drops. Stand up straight, rise up on your tiptoes, and then drop your heels down firmly. That impact travels up through your bones and sends the signal to build more bone. Or you can go up and down stairs. Even marching in place with a little extra stomp works. The key is mechanical stress. Your bones need to feel impact, and they respond by getting stronger. Think of it like this. Your bones receive a mechanical signal from the impact, and they transform that into a biochemical signal that tells your bone cells to lay down new bone. That's how you maintain healthy bones across your entire lifespan. Research has shown that impact exercise, things like jumping, running, even going up and down stairs, is as predictive of bone density as factors you can't control, like your age and your genetics. So this is one of the most powerful things you can do, and it takes about 2 minutes a day. Number 3, get your heart rate up. I'm not asking you to run a 5K. I'm asking you to take a brisk walk, 45 to 60 minutes a day. Get your heart pumping, feel a little out of breath. And here's the bonus. Twice a week, I want you to speed it up for about 30 seconds. Walk as fast as you can for half a minute, then slow back down. That little burst, that mini sprint, builds incredible power in your muscles and cardiovascular system. You can do it on your morning walk around the neighborhood. You can do it at the mall. You can do it on a treadmill watching your favorite show. It doesn't matter where. It just matters that you do it. So that's the 3-part plan. Lift heavy a few times a week. Do 20 jumps or impacts a day, using modifications if you need them. And walk briskly with a couple of short sprints mixed in. We were designed to move from the waist down. We've got 2 strong legs for a reason. The first independent skill you ever learned as a baby was walking. Movement is human nature. What's unnatural is sitting still. Now let's talk about food, because exercise alone isn't the whole picture. What you put in your body matters enormously, especially after 50. And I'm going to keep this simple because I know there's a lot of noise out there about diets. The single most important thing you can do with your diet is eliminate sugar spikes. When your blood sugar spikes and crashes all day long, it creates inflammation throughout your entire body. And inflammation is at the root of almost every health problem you can think of. Heart disease, joint pain, brain fog, fatigue, weight gain, skin problems, you name it. The American food system has pumped something like 16 pounds of added sugar per person per month into our food supply. 16 pounds. And most of it is hidden in places you'd never expect. Bread, pasta sauce, yogurt, salad dressing, even things labeled healthy. So, what does a flat glucose curve look like in practice? First, protein. You want about 1 gram of protein per pound of lean body weight per day. For most women, that's somewhere around 100 to 130 grams. Now that might sound like a lot. It's eggs in the morning, chicken or fish at lunch, maybe some Greek yogurt as a snack, and a good portion of protein at dinner. You spread it out through the day. Second, when you eat carbs, make them complex carbs, fiber-rich, slow-digesting carbs like sprouted grain bread, sweet potatoes, quinoa, oats. These cause the least inflammatory response in your body. They digest slowly, they keep your blood sugar stable, and they keep you full. What you want to avoid is the white stuff. White bread, English muffins, pastries, anything that's going to spike your sugar and leave you inflamed and hungry an hour later. And eat your greens. Leafy green vegetables, spinach, kale, collard greens, broccoli. They are packed with the minerals and vitamins your bones are hungry for. Think of leafy greens as a direct deposit into your bone bank account. Now, I get a lot of questions from women about fruit, and I want to clear this up because there's some confusion out there. Fruit is not your enemy. Whole fruits with their fiber intact, berries, apples, oranges, are perfectly fine and actually beneficial. What you want to watch out for is fruit juice and dried fruit, which are basically concentrated sugar without the fiber to slow it down. So eat your fruit, don't drink it. Now, one more thing I want to address about food because I hear this from my patients all the time. They tell me, Dr. Kingsley, I eat pretty well, but I'm still tired all the time. And one of the first things I ask is, are you getting enough sunlight? Because here's the thing, you can eat perfectly, exercise every day, take every supplement on the planet. But if you're not getting regular sunlight exposure, you're missing a critical piece of the puzzle. Sunlight triggers vitamin D production in your skin. It regulates your circadian rhythm, which affects your sleep, your mood, and your energy. It even affects your immune system. I tell my patients to get outside for at least 15 to 20 minutes a day, ideally in the morning. You don't have to sunbathe. Just step outside, walk to your mailbox, sit on your porch with your coffee. Let the light hit your skin and your eyes. It makes a bigger difference than most people realize. Finally, let's talk about 3 supplements that I believe every woman over 50 should seriously consider. And I want to be clear, these are supplements, not replacements for good food and exercise. They fill in the gaps. Number 1 is vitamin D. Vitamin D is not just a vitamin, it's actually a hormone, and it affects virtually every organ system in your body. It's critical for your bones, your immune system, your brain function, and your mood. Here's the problem. Almost everyone is deficient. I've been testing my patients for over 20 years, and I can count on one hand the number of women who came in with optimal vitamin D levels without supplementation. Get your level checked with a simple blood test. Most women need somewhere between 2,000 and 5,000 IU daily to get into an optimal range, but your doctor can tell you exactly where you stand. And take it with a meal that has some fat in it, because vitamin D is fat soluble and absorbs much better that way. Number 2 is vitamin K2. Now, most people have heard of vitamin K, but K2 is a different animal. Here's what K2 does. It takes calcium and directs it to where it belongs, your bones and teeth, and keeps it away from where it doesn't belong, your arteries and soft tissues. Without K2, you can take all the calcium in the world and it might end up calcifying your arteries instead of strengthening your bones. K2 is the traffic cop for calcium. You'll find it in fermented foods like natto, hard cheeses, and egg yolks, but most women benefit from a supplement, typically around 100 to 200 micrograms of the MK7 form. One important note, though. If you're on blood-thinning medication like warfarin, talk to your doctor before adding K2, because it can interact with those medications. Number 3 is magnesium. Magnesium is involved in over 300 biochemical reactions in your body, and it's essential for bone health, muscle function, sleep quality, and stress management. Most American women don't get nearly enough from their diet. Good food sources include dark leafy greens, nuts, seeds, and dark chocolate. Yes, I said dark chocolate. But a supplement of 200 to 400 milligrams of magnesium glycinate or citrate at bedtime can work wonders. Many of my patients tell me it's the first thing that actually helped them sleep through the night. And when you sleep better, everything else gets better too. So let me bring this all together for you. Here's your simple plan. Lift something heavy a few times a week, 3 to 6 reps, whatever challenges you. Do 20 bone impacts a day, jumping if you can, rebounding or heel drops if you can't. Walk briskly 45 to 60 minutes most days, with 2 mini sprints per week. Eat plenty of protein, complex carbs, and leafy greens. Cut the added sugar. Get outside in the sunlight for 15 to 20 minutes a day. And take your vitamin D, K2, and magnesium. That's it. That's the whole plan. It's not complicated. It's not expensive. It doesn't require a gym or a personal trainer. It just requires a decision to invest in yourself every single day. And I promise you, your body will respond. I've seen it happen thousands of times over 30 years. Women who thought it was too late, women who could barely walk across the room, women who had been told by other doctors to just accept their limitations. And they didn't accept it. They started moving, they started fueling their bodies right, and they got their lives back. I had a patient, 74 years old, came to me using a walker. She'd been told she was too far gone for exercise. Within 6 months of following a program very similar to what I just described, she ditched the walker, Within a year, she was hiking with her daughter. She told me, Dr. Kingsley, I feel like I got 20 years back. That's what this is about. It's not about looking younger. It's not about fitting into old jeans. It's about living your life on your own terms for as long as possible. You are not the victim of the passage of time. You are the author of how you age. So start today. Start with one walk, one set of lifts, one handful of jumps. Start somewhere. And if you found this helpful, share it with a friend, a sister, a mother, anyone you care about, because everyone deserves to know that it's never too late. I'm Dr. Audrey Kingsley, and I'll see you in the next one.